Hello there, this is Nightline and I'm Nadia Azmi. Let's take a look at the top stories. Saudi Arabia, a key country for Malaysia in Middle East, says Prime Minister. And NRD MACC smash syndicate smuggling illegal immigrants. Good morning. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, who concluded a 3-day official visit to Saudi Arabia on Friday, said he considers Saudi Arabia a key country for Malaysia in the Middle East. The visit to the kingdom was the first official visit by Datuk Seri Anwar outside the ASEAN region since his appointment as Malaysia's 10th Prime Minister in November last year. Speaking at a press conference, the Prime Minister said he appreciated getting the invitation from the Saudi Arabian government to visit in a short time after his appointment as a Prime Minister.
Pimpinan Kerajaan Arab Saudi telah memohon supaya saya panjangkan kunjungan ini untuk sekurang-kurangnya 2 hari lagi untuk meneruskan pertemuan dengan pimpinan negara yang baru menukar jadual menjelang Ramadan Mubarak. Saya sambut baik pandangan ini, tetapi agak duka cita tidak dapat memenuhi termasuk pertemuan yang dijadualkan dengan Raja Salman dan putera mahkota Muhammad bin Salman.
Datuk Seri Anwar said he had to turn it down because of the scheduled iftar with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong on Saturday and an official visit to Cambodia on Monday. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar said Kuala Lumpur is open to restarting talks on building the King Salman Centre for International Peace (KSCIP) in Malaysia. Datuk Seri Anwar said he himself was not in agreement with the way the centre's operations were shut down earlier, as it was done without consultation with the Saudi Arabian government. The KSCIP was first proposed after the visit of Saudi monarch King Salman Abdul Aziz Al Saud to Malaysia in March 2017. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar reiterated that the unity government continues to remain stable despite certain parties attempting to play up sentiments that it would not be able to last very long.
But the fact remains, as I have reassured them, that the government is certainly stable. In our last meeting of members of Kerajaan Perpaduan, there was clear, solid stance. But as I said, it would not stop attempts or even, should I say, dreams of those who are craving for power, without the mandate, without the support.
Datuk Seri Anwar said this in response to a question about rumours that the existing government may change after Hari Raya Aidilfitri. For the record, the current unity government has the support of a 2/3 majority or 148 seats in Parliament. It is made up of Pakatan Harapan, Barisan Nasional, Gabungan Parti Sarawak, Gabungan Rakyat Sabah, Parti Warisan and Muda. The National Registration Department, together with the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission and the Royal Malaysian Police, have detained 7 MyCard owners from various locations in the country for further investigation into a syndicate suspected of smuggling in illegal immigrants by air. Home Ministry Secretary-General Datuk Ruji Ubi said the syndicate was successfully busted through operations carried out at Terminal 2 KLIA and around Bandar Sri Alam in Masai, Johor last Thursday.
Satu perkara berkaitan dengan penyalahgunaan dokumen di bawah Peraturan 25 iaitu pihak di bawah Akta Pendapatan Negara dan polis mengambil tindakan menggunakan dokumen orang lain untuk melepasi pemeriksaan immigration. Jadi di situ kesalahan telah berlaku. Yang kedua ialah berkaitan dengan integriti. Difahamkan ada ejen yang memberikan sogokan dan sebagainya kepada pihak yang bertugas di lapangan terbang Tawau.
He said that another arrest was made in connection to the case under the MACC Act. He was speaking to the media after the handing over for the NRD Tawau office and residences construction project. Earlier, 8 illegal immigrants from the Philippines were detained at Terminal 2 KLIA on Thursday after they were found to be using genuine My cards belonging to Malaysians in order to enter the country. The illegal immigrants had entered Peninsular Malaysia on board a commercial plane which took off from Tawau, Sabah. Upon arrival from Tawau, the passengers were ordered to undergo a strict inspection by presenting their respective My card. The results of checks using My card and My kid readers found that 3 men and 4 women were posing as Malaysians by presenting genuine My cards belonging to other individuals. Also detained was a 1-year-old baby boy who was provided with a genuine birth certificate by the same syndicate. Following the arrest, the MACC through Ops Lanchar arrested the 3 main suspected masterminds of the syndicate involving local women in their 40s to 50s. It had been reported that the migrants would be given boarding passes based on the names stated in the My cards that were given to them, and their arrival at KLIA would be met by enforcement officers who had been bribed and paid to let them through. On Friday, it was reported that a total of 9 individuals, including 5 enforcement officers, were arrested on suspicion of smuggling migrants into the country in an operation carried out in Sabah. The Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry will soon be conducting an impact research on the Payung Rahma initiative to study its sustainability. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Salahuddin Ayub, said the impact study will be carried out in June, which is 6 months after it was first introduced, and the report will then be presented to the Prime Minister, who is also the Finance Minister.
Barulah nanti lepas 6 bulan, kita akan lihat apakah yang kerajaan boleh bantu mereka. Mungkin dalam bajet tahun hadapan akan kita lihat nanti tawaran-tawaran ataupun inisiatif ataupun pemotongan cukai dari pihak kerajaan terhadap mereka yang melibatkan diri dengan serius dalam inisiatif Payung Rahmah ini.
He was speaking at a media conference after the launch of Jualan Rahmah Baju Raya in Gombak, Selangor. Commenting on initial reports received by the ministry so far, Datuk Sri Salahuddin said several major participants from the industry have reported an increase in their sales. Among them are 2 supermarkets and a restaurant chain that reported sales increase of at least 30%. A more detailed information on the matter will be presented after 6 months of the initiative being launched. Meanwhile, on the government's proposal to introduce the Insurance Rahma initiative, Datuk Sri Salahuddin said 2 insurance companies have expressed interest in offering such packages. He said his ministry had already completed discussions with 1 insurance company which had agreed to provide Rahma insurance packages, while an engagement session with another insurance company will be conducted next week.
Dalam masa 2 minggu lagi kita akan finalize package itu kerana kita kena lihat dari segi perundangan, dari segi peraturan dan juga kesan jangka pendek dan jangka panjang daripada tawaran itu. Jadi pihak pegawai dan insurans sedang meneliti dan memperlengkapkan semua.
He added that the ministry will introduce the packages once it obtains approval from Bank Negara and the Finance Ministry. Malaysia is expected to experience thunderstorms, heavy rain and strong winds throughout the transition phase of the southwest monsoon to the northeast monsoon. The National Disaster Management Agency NADMA said during this phase, the country will receive weak winds from various directions, which is conducive to thunderstorms, heavy rain and strong winds. In a statement on Saturday, based on a report from the Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, NADMA said the situation will occur throughout the country for a short period of time in the evening until night. NADMA also explained that the sky is usually clear in the morning but changes in the late afternoon and has the potential to generate thunderstorms and hail. This scenario, it said, occurs in most inland areas and the west coast of Peninsular Malaysia, as well as the western part of Sabah and the central and western parts of Sarawak. NADMA added that such weather developments can potentially result in flash floods and landslides, as well as phenomena such as water spouts, fallen trees and lightning strikes. Therefore, the agency advised the public to be more vigilant and aware of the weather forecasts and warnings issued by Met Malaysia. NADMA also pointed out that the impact of the weather from the 2 monsoon transition phases can also potentially cause damage to unstable structures. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Hajah Azizah Aminah Maimunah Iskandariah on Saturday broke their fast with members of the cabinet and foreign representatives at Istana Negara. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and his wife Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, who had just returned from an official working visit to Saudi Arabia earlier in the day, also attended the event. Also present were Deputy Prime Ministers Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof. Among the ministers present were Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, Defence Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan and Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir and Deputy Ministers. Other dignitaries present were Chief Justice Tun Tunku Maimun Tuan Mat, Attorney General Tan Sri Idrus Harun, Chief Secretary to the Government Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali, Dewan Rakyat Speaker Datuk Johari Abdul and Dewan Negara President Tan Sri Dr. Rais Yatib. The event was also attended by foreign delegates, including from Yemen, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, Senegal, Palestine, Bangladesh, Libya, India and Brunei. A total of 15 students and their teacher from the Tahfiz Darus Shabab Centre, Kepong, also attended the event. His Majesty and the Queen also performed the Maghrib prayer with the congregation and led by Istana Negara Assistant Religious Officer Muhammad Zuhairi Muhammad Yatib at the Istana Negara Surau. After this breather, dozens dead as destructive tornado storms batter Mississippi. Details when we return. Thailand's Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha was officially nominated for re-election on Saturday as his party's first candidate for the country's next leader in polls set for May 14th. The 69-year-old is running with the new United Thai Nation Party and will likely face Pheu Thai Party's Pai Tongtang Shinawat, daughter and niece of two former premiers from the billionaire family. The incumbent, in power since 2014 when the military toppled a civilian government, was elected as a civilian leader in 2019. The military veteran has lagged rivals in opinion polls but hopes to win over supporters with promises of looking after the well-being of the people and the country's stability and protecting the monarchy. Thailand's election is set to be a showdown between elite establishment and pro-democracy forces that have been dominating politics in the Southeast Asian country for decades. Top Indian opposition figure Rahul Gandhi on Saturday said his disqualification from Parliament was retribution for his demanding a probe into Prime Minister Narendra Modi's relationship with the controversial tycoon. Gandhi, the opposition Congress party, claimed that he has been disqualified because Modi is scared of the speech that is going to come on Gautam Adani, who is one of India's most powerful industrialists. The Premier has been a close associate of Adani for decades, but the latter's business empire has been subject of renewed attention this year after a US investment firm accused it of brazen corporate fraud. The Congress party has for weeks demanded a proper investigation by Parliament on the allegations. Gandhi was stripped of his parliamentary seat on Friday, a day after a defamation conviction in Modi's home state of Gujarat for a 2019 campaign trail remark seen as an insult to the Premier. The leading face of Congress was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment on Thursday but walked free on bail after his lawyers vowed to appeal. At least 24 people were killed after a deadly tornado ripped through rural Mississippi on Friday night. The Mississippi Emergency Management Agency said that in addition to the 24 dead, dozens of people were injured and at least 4 people were also missing. More people are believed to be trapped under the rubble of destroyed buildings. The storms also knocked out power for more than 100,000 homes and businesses across Alabama, Mississippi and Tennessee, with more than 70,000 outages reported in Tennessee alone. Welcome back. On to sports. In MotoGP, Marquez broke the lap record twice on Saturday in the qualifying session to put Honda in pole position at the season-opening Portuguese Grand Prix. The day saw the lap record broken as many as 4 times at the Portimao circuit. Marquez set a lap record at the Portimao circuit to top Q1 and breeze into Q2 along with local favourite Miguel Oliveira. But the lap record lasted barely a few minutes as Jack Miller went faster on his new Red Bull KTM machine. The Australian rider, who made the switch from Ducati prior to the season, sensed it may not be enough and went out again, only to crash at turn 3 just as reigning champion Francesco Bagnaia broke the record. But six-time champion Marquez was not done yet, and just as the season wound down, the Spaniard put his head down and, with the help of a tow from Iñigo Bastianini, set the fastest lap with a time of 1:37.226. Marquez will be joined on the front row with Bagnaia and Pramac Racing's Jorge Martin, while Oliveira starts fourth with Miller and Bastianini alongside him. On to tennis now. Defending champion Carlos Alcaraz marched into the third round of the Miami Open with a 6-love, 6-2 win over Argentine Facundo Bagnis on Friday. The Spanish top seed looking to back up his Indian Wells triumph with the Miami title to complete the coveted Sunshine Double barely broke a sweat as Bagnis was simply unable to keep pace with the variety in Alcaraz's game. Alcaraz was all business as he whipped through the first set in 24 minutes before Bagnis suddenly showed signs of life when he came back from a breakdown to level the second set at 2-2. But the fight back by Bagnis proved short-lived as Alcaraz quickly reasserted his authority as he consolidated a break for a 4-2 lead and never looked back. In another match, Japan's Taro Daniel shocked former world number 2 Alexander Zverev with a 6-love, 6-4 straight sets victory. The German hit 32 unforced errors as 97-ranked Daniel continued his recent good run of form, having also knocked former top 10 Matteo Berrettini out of Indian Wells. Elsewhere on Friday, 3-seed Casper Ruud erased past Belarus's Ilya Ivashka 6-2, 6-3, while Spaniard Alejandro Davidovich Fokina and Grigor Dimitrov of Bulgaria also booked their spots in the third round. Mum held after brothers found with their legs chained. This and more after the short break. Still remains relevant today as the world faces an increasingly urgent need to address the threats posed by climate change. Since its inception 16 years ago, the campaign encourages people to turn off their lights for just 1 hour, sending a powerful message about the importance of energy conservation and reducing carbon emissions. Hakim Azman reports.
The Earth Hour movement is not just about making governments, businesses and companies to take accountability of their ecological footprint. It is also about encouraging ordinary people to reflect on their actions and think about how they can contribute towards the conservation of Earth's natural resources. When asked about the public views on Earth Hour, many expressed their support for the campaign, saying that it is an effective way to raise awareness about climate change and encourage action.
Earth Hour is important for preserve safe energy for the future.
The practice when the countries use that Earth Hour to save the energy, so to eliminate the amount of the pollution.
The World Wildlife Fund WWF Malaysia's Sustainable Economy and Policy Analyst Zara Fang, however, said efforts to reduce carbon emissions are difficult to execute without the cooperation of the people. Therefore, the public is encouraged to play their part in reducing their carbon footprint by reducing energy consumption, promoting sustainable transportation, as well as adopting sustainable practices.
Moving to renewable energy sources, moving away from fossil fuels, increasing our energy efficiency, and that is one important thing that we can do for climate change. Having individuals and communities work on climate change is another important thing, and that's where Earth Hour comes in. So there are multiple ways that we are working on climate change, and Earth Hour is one part of the broader actions that we need to take on climate change.
Zara also said that advocating for systemic changes in industries that produce the most carbon emissions, such as the energy, transportation and agriculture sectors, is crucial to address the root causes of climate change. She stressed that to achieve meaningful progress in mitigating the effects of climate change, the world needs to take sustained coordinated action on multiple fronts, including individual action as well as community action. This is as urgent action for the betterment of the climate, nature and biodiversity is more necessary now than ever. Hakim Azman, TV3.
Police have arrested a woman to assist with investigations after 3 teenage boys believed to have been abused were found chained together by the side of a road at Simpang 4, Perlis on Friday night. The 46-year-old woman believed to be their mother was arrested along with a 31-year-old man to facilitate investigations under Section 31(1)(a) of the Child Act 2001. Kangar District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Yusharifuddin Muhammad Yusof said police were notified about the case by a member of the public who found the brothers by the roadside at Jalan Kampung Tambung Tulang at about 10:55 p.m. It was believed that the brothers, aged 14 to 16, may have ran away from their house because they could not endure further mistreatment. It was reported that 2 of the siblings were chained together at the ankles and were believed to be persons with disabilities, while the third victim was not chained and did not have an OKU card. Police have yet to get all the information as the teenagers refused to talk, but it was understood that the victims were confined and chained in a house by their mother, who did not stay with them. According to ACP Yusharifuddin, the mother had admitted to chaining the children's legs because they were hard to control. He said both suspects have been remanded for a week until March 31st. The victims, meanwhile, are currently being treated at the Tuanku Fauzia Hospital in Kangar. So far, the brothers were reported to be in stable condition and did not show any signs of trauma. They will be sent to the Perlis State Welfare Department after their treatment. In Pahang, a woman believed to have drowned when the car she was travelling in plunged into a river after fatally hitting a pedestrian. In the 9:30 a.m. incident at Jalan Nenasi Rompin near Merchong Pekan on Saturday, the male pedestrian was killed on the spot after the car driver lost control of his vehicle and hit him before plunging into a nearby river. Pekan District Police Chief Superintendent Muhammad Zaidi Mat Zid said Muhammad Aizuddin Karim and his wife Nur Khatijah Mahmad, aged 27 and 33 respectively, were on their way to Rompin from Pekan when the accident occurred. Muhammad Aizuddin, who was driving the car, managed to escape from his vehicle with minor injuries. His wife, who was a passenger, had also managed to get out of the car after the crash but was swept away by the river. The pedestrian, meanwhile, was taken to the Pekan Hospital Forensic Unit for post-mortem, but the identity had yet to be ascertained. Muhammad Aizuddin, who injured his right arm in the accident, was also sent to the hospital for treatment. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look as visitors enjoy the blooming crabapple flowers at the Haitang Garden as spring season arrives in China. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for watching, and to our Muslim viewers, Selamat Bersahur.